So.
Zach. Emily is already a goddess.
Wir haben ein wenig gewartet und irgendwas ist passiert.
Ja. Hallo.
Let's forget work for a bit and drink a little, shall we?
York? Why is she here? I just thought the more the merrier. You know, to relax and get loose. Is this a problem?
No, of course not. Pardon me, Emily, but I'm pooped. I think I'll just call it a night.
George, I just got here and you're walking out on me? I was hoping the three of us could have a drink and let out a little steam.
I'm afraid I've already had enough. And I already had a good man-to-man with York. So I'll see you
Fürs
guys.
lange Haare halt. Das sah ganz merkwürdig aus irgendwie.
Naja. Sagte er, um noch eine noch merkwürdigere Geste zu sehen. Schlimm.
So. Vielleicht doch eine hübsche Nacht mit Emily und nicht mit George.
I think George likes you.
Nachdem er ihn nicht wollte, ne?
Genau, guck mal, der andere, fertig.
How astute.
There's a reason?
Nothing worth going into. It's a thing of the past.
Ist sie betrunken? Ist sie noch schon irgendwie ein bisschen das
Vielleicht
Gefühl?
ist sie bestimmt betrunken.
Okay. He did ask me out when I first came to town. I was still in high school. But I never really considered him my type. And there's the age gap thing, too. I respect him, of course. I wouldn't have taken this job otherwise.
So, did you move to this town alone?
Of course not. I came with my parents.
Tell me about them then.
Sure, why not? My dad dealt in stocks in New York. He was hardly at home when I was a kid, always working. Those pieces of paper were far more important to him than I was. Which is no different now, really. I don't see much of him. My mother? Totally different story. A wonderful person that I still respect. She was always kind and understanding. Not only that, but she would always help me find my way. She could be fierce, too, scolding me if I took a wrong step. We had our battles, sure, but all in all, she was a wonderful mother.
Past tense?
Yeah, she's gone now. Cancer, just before I graduated high school. She gave this to me just before she died. I take it with me wherever I go. It's what I treasure most.
I'm sure she's
Was
very
war das?
proud of you.
Sah aus wie ein Medaillon oder eine Kette.
Ich hab gerade voll das sozusagen romantische Gespräch gehabt, was kommt dann? Kartoffel!
Der Klassiker für jedes Date. Nehmen Sie eine Kartoffel mit.
Galaxy of Terror.
I
Auch sehr
had a
gut.
good time tonight. Good night,
See you tomorrow.
York.
Yes.
Please, don't lie to us, okay?
I won't. Don't worry. I won't.
Er braucht immer nur einen Zug.
Hat sich gelohnt, ja. Aber bei dem Geld, was er kriegt, ne, oh mein Gott.
Ja. So,
Voll Hupe sein. Ja.
also ab zu Polly, würde ich sagen. Weil
Jo.
ich glaube, so viel können wir sowieso nicht mehr machen. Ja, genau, warum das jetzt gerade so hektisch angefangen hat. Wir sind kurz ins Spiel zurückgekommen und auf einmal fing dann diese Sequenz an, die wir da nicht ganz von vorne aufnehmen konnten. Was hat sie ja gesagt? Irgendwie.
Sie hat uns eigentlich nur Hallo gesagt.
Ja, ich glaube nur Hallo, das warst du auch schon. Also nichts Besonderes, aber wir waren selbst ein bisschen sehr überrascht.
Kam ein bisschen plötzlich, ja.
Ja. So.
Ja.
Also
Noch was Schönes zum Angucken für den Anfang. Ne?
Genau.
Hat auch gleich was.
die hübsche Emily. Ah,
Zach, picking up
die
from
wir
where
vor
we
8 Stunden
left
geführt
off.
haben.
So, Zach, this case turned into a multiple homicide. What kind of motive
Schön, dass wir
turn a
sind gleich da, dann
criminal
können wir
into a
den scheiß
serial
Lieder
killer?
irgendwann anfangen.
Ja.
Is it hedonistic? Ritualistic? Copycat crime? Sex-related? Cannibalistic? From the Bureau's statistics. These interesting ideas don't always really explain the real motive. They're just words. Phrases that the media uses to scare citizens. The spotlight falls on a mere 1% of all cases. Only the weird
Du
ones.
fährst das rückwärts zurück.
You understand all this, right, Zach? No matter how bizarre a crime may appear to be, at the root, there is always rage and personal interest. Right, Zach?
Most people simply don't kill for pleasure. But that kind of
Muss man kurz
common
warten, bis das
sense
angesprochen wird?
Jo.
never applies to our investigations. Maybe we're lucky. Or unlucky, depending on how you look at it. We end up working on those cases in that 1%.
Do you remember, Zach, the first case we handled just after becoming a special agent?
Now let's talk about this another
Oh.
time. I don't feel like it right now.
Das ist schon der interessanteste Fall von allen und da will ich drüber sprechen.
Naja, interessanter als der andere im Café. Das weiß ich nicht.
Ich habe jetzt übrigens mal meinen Wecker auf ungefähr 15 Minuten gesetzt, da die letzten Folgen irgendwie alle immer ein bisschen sehr lang geworden sind. Und ich persönlich finde es besser, wenn wir unsere Folgen ein bisschen, ja, also die Anzahl der Folgen ein bisschen erhöhen können. Dann haben wir nicht immer so viel Laufzeit zwischen den Folgen, bevor wir die rausbringen.
Jo, klingt irgendwie auch logisch.
Ja,
Es wird sowieso variieren durch die Dialoge, die ja teilweise...
Zach,
Ja,
let's go
natürlich,
over our
aber-
progress.
dass wir das so auf maximal 15 Minuten
From what Olivia
festsetzen
told
können.
us, and the
Das müssen wir uns
schedule we
erstmal
found
gut
at Becky's house,
Oh,
Nick and Diane became our primary suspects. There were a couple of reasons for this. First, Becky gave the missing locket to Diane.
wann haben wir das letzte Mal gespielt? Vor 2-3 Wochen?
Also, Nick has no alibi for when Anna and Becky were killed. We followed Nick to the art gallery, which led us, unfortunately, to our third victim. The third victim, Diane, was strung up in the entrance hall of the art gallery. Her hands were tied and a knife was sticking
Okay,
out
das
her
habe ich
chest.
nicht gesehen.
Ich persönlich jetzt auch nicht, das ist mir gerade
However,
vollkommen
there
neu.
was a marked difference from the previous crimes.
Do you remember what that was, Zach?
Roter Samen? Hä?
Mehrere Lagen?
Ach, gerade erst geschehen.
Ja. Ist eben gesagt.
That's right. Diane was still
Jedenfalls
alive.
die andere da auch noch.
Ja,
This
ja,
suggests
das
that very
hängt da
little
zusammen, das
time
meinte
had
er ja.
passed since the crime was committed,
Ich bin verwirrt.
which means the criminal was still close by. It was someone near the scene. There are two possible candidates. Nick, who was knocked out in the entrance, and one other.
Zach, who was the other person? at the
Okay,
gallery?
das ist nicht ganz so schwer.
Ja, das
Harry.
war... Ach, Harry, eindeutig Harry.
That's right.
Sieht so merkwürdig aus, dieser Typ.
We followed Willie, good dog, all the way to him. Casey
Aber Diane hat ja auch
came
alles
out
im
as
Leben
follows.
besprochen. Von daher...
He and
Ja, ein
Diane
bisschen.
were in a physical relationship. That was why he visited the gallery. The two were in the middle of such a meeting when Nick showed up.
Vertieft in die Beziehung.
Diane lost her cool
Ja,
and shut Kaysen
gut.
up in the basement. Now, what did Kaysen hear when he was locked up?
Männerstiefel.
Ich rette meinen Stiefeln, ja. Irgendwie schon.
That's it. The sound of
Bist
boots
du gewesen?
passing by,
Ja,
Die hatte zwei
Nick
übereinander
was
liegende
wearing
Läufe
boots
irgendwie.
that
Das sah ein bisschen merkwürdig aus.
which means it was likely
das soll
that
den
Diane
Rückstoß
met with Nick in her
darstellen.
room.
Ach so, das kann sein.
Nick said he argued verbally with Diane about her playing around with men, but they eventually decided to go out drinking to make up. However, immediately after that, Nick was attacked by someone in the entrance hall and knocked
Von Diane,
unconscious.
die sich dann selber umgebracht hat. Ohne
We saw
Leiter.
the rest.
Genau.
Zach, do you think that Nick is our serial killer?
Und
Das sieht so gut aus. Mach mal nein.
Me too. Usher sent in a report too.
He found a large volume of red seeds and
Ja,
dying
bei den
stump.
ganzen Scheiß, den sie so rumgespuckt hat, ist das wirklich
This
kein Wunder.
confirms her as a victim of the raincoat killer. Remaining leads. There is the locket, which is in Carol's possession, the man with the tattooed back, and the upside-down peace sign. There's a lot left to answer. I hope the coffee will give us more guidance tomorrow.
Natürlich. Ja, das Problem ist, ich weiß noch, wer der Mörder ist.
Wir können den
Vom
nicht einfach
letzten
Polly
Mal.
fragen, wer der Mörder ist. Die weiß das doch bestimmt.
Zach, what did you think about George pouring
Ja,
his
das kannst
heart
du
out?
gut haben.
I was surprised. It's the end of a monarchy. And he called me York instead of Agent Morgan.
Tütüm. Twin Peaks hast du nicht gesehen, ne?
Ne.
Emily? What's going on?
Das
You
sieht
know what
traurig
time it
aus.
is?
I'm sorry. I couldn't sleep, so I was drinking alone.
Ach, schade.
My mother was a very kind woman. She always smiled so brightly. Baked cakes and cookies every day. She'd say that I needed the sugar because I spent so much time thinking.
Schön, dass neben ihm ein großes
My
Bild von
father
einer
was
halbnackten
always
Frau
smiling.
hängt.
We never talked much. He was a federal agent, just like me. And he was hardly ever at home. The only words he ever had for me were harsh ones. I had a vivid imagination, and I remember he once said this to me. There are plenty of crazy things in this world. You don't have to go dreaming them up. And it's my job to make sense out of them. One day you'll understand what I'm saying. I found out later that my father was one of the first to ever use criminal profiling to catch bad guys. And so now I'm doing exactly the same job that he did. Like father, like son.
Can I ask you something?
Shoot.
Mind if it's something personal?
Fire away.
Who's Zach?
Zach is a friend of mine.
Oh, so you do have friends.
Yeah. He's my only friend.
What kind of person is he then?
Well, I've never seen his face. But he's always with me, and we discuss
Oh, er hat
everything.
einen unsichtbaren Freund.
When did you become friends?
A long time ago. Back when I was a child.
Ey, ohne Scheiß, wie hat der denn bloß den Psychologentest geschafft?
Ich weiß es nicht. Ah, hat sein Vater seine Mutter erschossen?
I was
Die
7.
haben schon 3 Flaschen Wein leer gemacht.
I woke up one morning to hear my
Das
mother
heißt, wir auch gerade
crying in
so
the
Wein
living
oder
room.
Bier.
This wasn't normal, so I headed in to see her. My father was there pointing a gun at my mother. I was so scared. I closed my eyes, so I don't remember much more. But I do remember the words my father said to me. At times we must purge things from this world because they should not exist, even if it means losing someone that you love. When I came back to my senses, they were both dead. He shot my mother and then killed himself.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Don't worry about it. Zach's with me. It was around that time that
Vielleicht
we
sollte man sich
became
genau deswegen
friends.
Sorgen machen.
I'm here.
Möglich.
I'm with you, he said. I'll be here always. We can get through this together. Quite aside from that terrible scene in front of me, that voice seemed to make me calmer. And here we are, working together, getting through things. This is the first time I've ever told anyone about this. I wonder if Zach will get angry.
Er will zusammen planen.
That's
Muss sie erschießen.
a sad story. But I don't want you to take this the wrong way, but I'm sure there was a reason for what your father did.
Ja.
I know. I think maybe I became an agent to find out why he did what he did.
Oh yeah, York, I forgot to thank you.
Thank me? For what?
You saved my
Haban.
life.
Stand da gerade.
If you didn't save me at the gallery, I would have died along with Diane.
No need to thank me for
Auch,
that.
ne? Oh, Alter.
I'm pretty useless.
Ich tauge
Couldn't
nichts.
save Becky. I couldn't save Diane.
What did you just say? Useless? I was never expecting to hear you say that. Huh. There might be a modest guy in you after all.
Die sitzen auch übrigens sehr schön nebeneinander,
Finally,
fällt mir das so auf.
You're a little slow, aren't you?
Maybe hopeless, but not useless.
Zach, do you think Emily got home safely?
Oh, sie hätte auch ruhig da bleiben können, oder?
Anyway, I think
Das
it's more
Bett ist groß
serious
genug,
of a
auf jeden
situation
Fall.
than I
Ja.
thought. Do you remember?
Da können 3 Leute
A conversation
schlafen,
with
abgesehen davon.
She's really interested in you. I think she's starting to have certain feelings for you.
Mhm.
If that's the case, Zach, you and I are rivals. This is a very serious situation indeed.
Ich will sehen, wie Zack sich an sie
And if it
ranmacht.
comes to that,
Hm?
let it be a
Ich
fair
will sehen,
fight.
wie Zack sich an sie ranmacht.
Agreed?
Kommt auf einmal rote Augen oder so und dann.
Irgendwann verprügelt er sich selber.
Thomas! Thomas! Let me out of here! Come on, please! Just for a moment. 1 second. Hate it in here, Thomas. I think I'm going there.
Okay.
I know you're there. Come on, please!
Ja, vielleicht ist er doch gar nicht mal so.
Ja, der wirkt auch ein bisschen wahnsinnig.
Ja gut, die wirken alle ein bisschen wahnsinnig.
Ja, okay. Alle haben irgendwelche Traumerinnerungen aus der Kindheit. Keks von Pommes. Boah, Alter. Aha. Oh. Da war der Pommes im Kleid.
Aber Polly hat noch nie was von einem Sexshop in der ganzen Stadt erzählt.
Komisch eigentlich, ne? Das müsste. War das kein Satan-Symbol? Auf der Kette?
Ich vermute mal, ja, das war das gedrehte Peace-Zeichen-Ding da.
Ja, kann auch sein. Nee, ich glaube nicht. Oh, Vergangenheit beendet. So. Episode 2 abgeschlossen. Dann, jetzt hast du schon weitergemacht. Wenn jetzt noch ein Video kommt, das brauchen wir nicht. Okay,
Siehste.
hier können wir perfekt erstmal Schluss machen.
Ja.
Genau. Episode 3.
Thema.
Gut. Sind wir damit auch endlich mal durch.
Ja.
Genau, dann sehen wir uns in Folge 28. Nee. 29 sehen wir uns dann wieder.
Das ist einfach zu viel in der
Ja.
Übersicht.
Gut, dann bis dann.
Bis dann.